Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so nice to see you. It's so busy here. I can't believe it's been a year since we did this last.
The world is a very different place than it was last year.
It is a very different place.
Holy crap.
12 months has gone very, very quickly.
We need some bonding now really badly.
Don't we just? But yes, I mean, I'm sure a man who needs no introductions to all of you, but we are so happy to be back with you. Ian Somerhalder, co-founder of Brothers Bond Bourbon. And we're going to be chatting all things American whiskey and trends. And we have some really delicious liquid for you to also taste with us as we go. Ian, I want to first talk about the last 12 months. You know, what has the whiskey world been like for you since we last saw you here at Provine?
The last 12 months have been expansive. They've been explosive as far as Brothers Bond goes. One of the most amazing things is post-Provine last year, and a lot of the work that we've been able to do with the spirits business, Richard, wherever you are, thank you. Melita, thank you, is that we've been able to speak and reach so many people in Europe, on the European continent, and obviously in the UK. And what's been amazing about that is the idea of bonding. People are really not just accepting, but really appreciating the idea of bonding, right? The world is a very strange and quite divided place. But it's our job to lift it up, to bring the sentiment up, bring the energy up. And people love that, and they want to be a part of it. So what we were just talking about is quantities are going down, right? People want to drink less, they want higher quality. And so that's where we perform the best, right? So the idea is the building high quality with a really great price to build bonding occasion in a very strange and wildly changing, rapidly changing world. That's just like the breakdown of it. It's been special. We just started harvesting all of our regenerative grain that we're now putting into cookers and now putting into barrels, you know, shipping 1 million pounds of grain at a time. It's been very special. So it's been quite a ride.
Yeah. And it's been a busy 12 months for you as well. You've expanded to multiple markets and really grown internationally. I'd love to know a bit more about the trends that you're seeing as you're kind of moving and growing in different markets.
So one of the amazing things is we were able to partner with the incredible Heinemann family. Heinemann Duty Free brought us into the world market like nothing we've ever seen. We're in 51 countries right now. As a tiny whiskey brand, you know, we're a small 100,000 case a year whiskey brand, now in 51 countries, and by the end of the year, we'll be in 70 countries. This is bonkers. But what the Heinemann family did was bring us into the world space where people started trusting this brand and experimenting with it. And it's just been the most unbelievable journey, right? But one of the things last year that struck me as so unique, you guys setting this up for us, bringing us into this. People want to talk about the world without talking about the world. Because at the end of the day, we're all so consumed by all this media that we're just absorbing, that it's so nice. Even for millennial and Gen Z females, women that don't typically drink whiskey, are falling in love with this spirit and bonding over it and having fun doing it. That is a big differentiator in the whiskey space, right? That's different. So if you were here last year or not here last year, we were tasting our 80 proof whiskey. It was much softer. These whiskeys are they're a little more robust, but absolutely delicious. This one now, as we stand here and speak, this is rated as one of the top 5 whiskeys in the world right now. Thank you. But it just goes to show you how crazy a year has changed our lives. So when we're sipping these, yes, they are a little more robust, right? A little higher alcohol content. But I will tell you, and it might, a lot of the whiskey connoisseur guys hear me like, oh God, what is he teaching these people? But I learned something in Mongolia. It looks a little strange, but it works. So they drink this it's like a fermented yak's milk. It's like 75% alcohol. It will literally kill you. But what they do is, because the alcohol content is so high, when it gets too much, the alcohol is what takes away the flavor. So if it's too much for you and it burns, you can just take your hand and just blow into it. Blow a big, giant exhalation into your hand. And what you're going to do is blow out that heat, and you're going to be able to taste all of the nuance, all of the flavor. You might look funny doing it. I do it all the time. If that happens, just blow into your hand. No one's judging. Hey, you're going to taste everything. So let's try this. Let's just get liquid to lips. So what do we have here? We've got the Brothers Bond bottled in bond. Brothers Bond bottled in bond. Say that 5 times and see if you can get it. So this is, right now, as I mentioned, one of the top 5 whiskeys in the world by the harshest critics on the planet. Smell the nose on this. Obviously, the higher up you are, the more floral the notes are. As you bring your nose down, 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 they become more robust. Baking spice, I see your eyes watering a little bit. Baking spice, vanilla, nutmeg, cinnamon, oak, caramel. This is a very unique nosing experience. Now, on the mouth, you're going to have a little sip of this, right? Really move it around. It's not going to kill you. It is a little stronger. If it's too much, just blow it out. That is beautiful, incredibly dynamic flavor profiles. 51% corn, 39% rye, 10% malted rye. For a flavor balance, right? When you're drinking whiskey, or even if it's wine, or if it's gin, whatever, you're looking for balance, right? Balance is everything. In life, balance is everything. You're balancing work, family, friends. It's the same thing in whiskey. Do you taste all those notes? Dried fruit, oak, smoke. It's pretty special, right? My hat is off to all of you for joining us. Thank you for trying this. Melita, I appreciate you, my dear sister. I'm going to have one more big, amazing sip, and then let's talk. Because I think what you're realizing is that there is space, even at 100 proof, right? That you can taste something so dynamic and delicious. So thank you for trying this and trusting me. And yes, you ladies are drinking 100 proof whiskey out of a bottle right now with no ice and no oxygen.
That's one of the amazing fun things about the whiskey category, is that whatever your flavor profile, however you like to drink whiskey, there's so much that you can try and explore. Right. This is such a great example of, finding different flavor styles and seeing what suits your palate.
By the way, though, our booth, which, by the way, it's in Hall 5. I don't know if you saw it. It's massive. It's incredible. The majority of people coming through, not just because they're fans of the show, they're also buyers, international global buyers, are women. And one of the things of Gen Z and millennial females, every Gen Z or millennial woman has a guy in their life. A dad, an uncle, a brother, a husband, a boyfriend, whatever it may be, a best friend. They might have known the show. They introduced them to the whiskey, or vice versa. But a lot of the buyers coming to our stand are women, and they gravitate toward this whiskey like there's no tomorrow. It's like clockwork every single time. They love, love, love the 80 proof. They love this. They also love the rye. They love the region. Ladies are not playing around. They love flavor, right? So it's been really amazing, and I'm super grateful to get these insights from these amazing, powerful millennial and Gen Z women who are out there in the world buying and selling and trading spirits. It's amazing, you know? So again, it's like we talk about all the time, Melita. Obviously, the world is quite crazy out there. So there's something to be said about creating occasion, bringing people together through occasion, whether it's just after a long week or enjoying a long weekend. Occasion, bringing people together in this very technological social media world, you know?
And that's what the spirits industry is all about. We are here making delicious drinks, and, you know, the hospitality industry is so integral to that as well, to bring people together and create occasions and memories and,
Right.
you know, enjoyable moments that people can share together.
And by the way, any way you want. It's meant to be enjoyed however the hell you want. There's no like fancy, cool way of, you know, sipping this or drinking this, blending whatever you just enjoy. Just enjoy it. Bond together. Oh, thank you. Oh, look at you. I get the whole bottle. Thank you, sister. Appreciate you, man. So this has been the big takeaway, particularly from Pro Wine this year. And Vincent, I think you would back me up on this. The amount of millennial women in the buying positions in this industry has blown my mind. And they understand it as well as I do, which is super cool. So it's been amazing.
Yeah. And leading on from that, how else are you seeing, not necessarily just women, but how are you seeing newer drinkers who are, you know, finding an interest in the whiskey category? How are they shaping how brands are thinking about flavor, maybe how you're thinking about branding or marketing or flavor?
Well, this isn't like, you know, this isn't your grandpa's whiskey. There was something, Vincent, that we just saw that was like a top 10 something in the world. And the category that we were being called was like best modern day drinker. So for a palate that was like about experiencing really dynamic flavors, but in real, like for us, it's about balance, right? So you can enjoy it. And so from a marketing perspective, it's a unique thing, right? I don't understand or know any other brand outside of ours because I only focus on this. I would say I would never have gotten into this with Paul if we didn't have a very, very powerful television show to back it up. I would never get into this category and try and build a brand from the ground up without the firepower of Vampire Diaries. There's no way. And so from a marketing perspective, I would say it's how do you give a consumer, a customer, a drinker, a friend, something more without charging them $1 or a penny more. So that comes from flavor. That comes from quality. It comes from accessibility. It comes from great pricing, where we've literally slashed our margins to make sure that we're getting this into people's hands, because greed does nothing for anyone. So from a marketing perspective, it's how do you give someone something more than just flavor? You give them a feeling. You give them an ability to bond. You give them an ability to know that what they're buying is actually helping the planet in some way, shape, or form. That is something that's hard for brands to do because they don't build that into their supply chain. We're now producing our own grains, regenerative grains. It's very difficult for a small whiskey brand to do that at this level. So I have to say, I'm so horrible at thinking about how to market someone else, like a spirit, because I only know how to market this, which is this is my life, like my soul is in this bottle. All I know how to do is tell you that it's going to be the best whiskey you've ever had. It's going to be the right price. And every dollar, every sip is giving back to regenerative agriculture, which is going to basically bring us out of the doldrums of economic and social kind of hell.
And we know that the industry is facing that massively at the moment. There are so many additional pressures that brands are facing, distributors are facing, consumers are facing as well, you know. We have seen a little bit of a slowdown in the whiskey category as well. What do you think is going to be key for the industry to ensure longer term success?
Brand authenticity. Social responsibility, but not in a and pardon my French, I'm not trying to sound crass, but like we're all adults here, so we can speak like adults, but social responsibility, but not in some bullshit greenwashing way. Actually just putting the pedal to the metal and actually being good stewards of whatever category you're in. So whatever raw materials you're using, make sure that you're doing something more with those raw materials. Whether it's carbon sequestration, we're sequestering carbon by using agriculture. Taking those spent grains and using those spent grains for something amazing, like feeding cattle or redistributing nutrients to a field. These are things that people don't know brands are doing. And that is something very special. And one of the things, a really big win for us was, I'm here with one of our dear partners, Mr. Paul Lux right here. We just came, we have a distillate. It's the first of its kind. I can't tell you what the mash bill is because my CEO brother partner would slap me in the face. But we just produced a mash bill that's actually never been produced. And we worked very closely with this, and we just shipped 1 million pounds of our regenerative rye from Eastern Indiana to Western Indiana. From Western Indiana to Eastern Indiana. Paul, we ran it through our cookers, we bottled it, and put it in barrels, and it's now sitting there. And the distillate from this is so spectacular. And the grain, the analysts of the grain were saying this is the most amazing rye grain they'd ever analyzed. This was regenerative grain that sequestered enormous amounts of carbon in its most natural form, a 210-year-old heirloom grain. It's never been done. How cool is that? That through these amazing partnerships, we are pushing that hard. So we worked our butts off to do it, and our partners at MGP pushed the boundaries to get this into the cookers. Paul, we analyzed every single moment of that distillation period, right? And we went for it. And now we have a distillate that is so beautiful with grain that the analysts are saying this is the most amazing grain I've ever analyzed. That is the future of whiskey. That is the future. You have to be able to offer this to your customers. So every bartender, every server, every mixologist, every general manager, bar manager, chef, sous chef, anyone, owners of restaurant chains, or the big retailers are saying, hey, this is where I'm putting my money. Because my salespeople on the floor, or my bartenders, or my mixologists can say across that bar with real confidence, these people are doing the right thing for the right reasons and building the right spirits with the right flavors that are just blowing people's minds. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. And it's interesting because sustainability has become such a big talking point in the industry over the last few years. And you mentioned you've had, lots of meetings and conversations with different distributors and buyers during the show. How much is your products, really championing sustainability, kind of a key selling point to consumers?
Yeah, it's interesting. So Brothers Bond, from the very beginning of its inception, we built not just sustainability, we built regeneration into the corporate bylaws, right? Like we give a percentage of gross, not net, some fancy, accounting, grow sales back into regenerative agriculture, but also too, as families, we also do it. Sustainability is a very unique thing. Obviously, the idea is to do more with less, right? And I never want to discourage people from building sustainable models within their supply chains. But I say this with only respect and humility, only not to sound controversial or opa, but to sound not incendiary or controversial. But just remember, the idea of sustainability, yes, of course, is doing a little more with less, but it's maintaining. We're now in a space of regeneration where you're actually giving more back. So you're making better than was before for the long, long, long term. So sustainability is about to become a thing of the past a little bit because it's not getting us moving forward. It's doing a good job of moving us laterally. And I say that again, I'm stating through humility and understanding what I'm saying. You want to move into a space of regeneration because that's the only way we're going to build ourselves out of the economic and climate issues that we're facing. And the idea is one thing. None of us can agree that the climate is changing. Okay, that's fine. Let's find a commonality, a common space, common ground that we can all walk on together. Well, we can agree that the weather is changing. We see global shifts in weather, right? Everybody knows an uncle or an aunt, whether they're a farmer in Indiana or they're a farmer in Germany or India. The weather's changing a bit or a lot. Okay, so let's talk about the weather. The weather's changing. We can all agree. Now, through these regenerative processes and these regenerative systems, we can start by healing the soil, affect the micro weather systems. So eventually, we're going to affect the macro weather systems, which effectively is called global climate. So let's start from things we can agree on and hold hands together. And that is how we're going to build $1 trillion a year carbon capture food economy, whether it's for spirits, wine, beer, food, agriculture, cosmetics, building materials, whatever it is. When we move into a space of regeneration, now we're cooking, baby. Now we're building industries. We're fixing microclimates that are now affecting macroclimates. We're building hundreds of billions of dollars and euros a year into profits for people. That is how we really rise above it all. And so it seems so complicated. It's actually really simple. And that's what makes it very special. And I don't mean to sound incendiary. I'm not here to sound controversial. But sustainability needs to become a thing of the past. We need to move into the space of regeneration. And once we start balancing that out, we're going to balance climates, economies, political systems, healthcare systems. It's going to get better when we do this. So I'm so excited about the future. I know it's quite dark and divided right now, but I'm telling you, the sky is the limit when we deploy these regenerative systems and really hold hands and stop fighting each other. It's pretty special.
And it's cool to see it across different spirits categories as well. And we've had quite a few brands launch recently that are embracing regenerative farming and, moving towards regenerative grains, because I think the more touch points you can give consumers to make better choices for the planet, it just makes that conversation become more normal and removes that controversy. And it just becomes something that we can all make a better decision and make a better choice. I also want to talk a bit more about rye whiskey, and I think it's a great time to pour our second sample of Brothers Bond. Rye is something that we have make something of a resurgence in the last few years, not just in American whiskey, but particularly in Scandinavian whiskey making markets. Right. It's really grown from what we can see. I'd love to hear your thoughts on rye as kind of a subcategory in whiskey.
Wow, it's really special. Listen, rye is an amazing grain, and I do think that the reason you're seeing this kind of resurgence into the rye category is because it makes the most amazing cocktails. Because of the range of, it's got this staying power within a cocktail beverage program that makes it unique. Yes, it's very warm, right? It's a very warm spirit. Are you already sipping that rye? Wow, you're just going for it? It's quite strong. Now listen, here's the thing. Because we're coming from the bottled and bond, again, this is one of the top whiskeys in the world as we speak. A lot of sugar, a lot of rye, a lot of balance, but robust. So to get into this rye, maybe what you can do is just imagine your first sip is not going to be a true representation of this rye. So maybe what you do is you take a little sip, really swish it around your mouth, and go ahead and give it a swallow. If it's too much, blow out the heat, and then our next sip is really going to coat our palate. So let's have a little sip. It's going to be very spicy. Shaved ginger, white pepper, little bit of hint of sugar, maybe a tiny bit of toasted cereal grain. This is a 4-grain rye. But on the back end, you will get a little sweet kick, right? Maybe it's not as much now because the bottled and bond, but you've just coated your palate now with this rye. You've prepped your palate, right? You do get a lot more warm rye spice. Again, though, you're now drinking just straight rye whiskey from a bottle. Still very special. Now, rye, on the nose, most ryes don't have a bouquet like this. The higher up you are, the more floral it will be. You might get a little bit of rose petal up high. Maybe not rose petal, but if you've ever seen like where the stem of a rose hits the petals, if you were to squeeze that bottom and get that juice, it literally comes from this profile, right? Now, give this rye a good sip. Really move it around. It's 95 proof, so it's not hot, but really experience the flavor of what rye gives you. But this is a 4-grain rye, which most people don't do, so it's quite special. You've got a little sugar, a little toasted cereal grain, but go ahead and give it a try. It's warm. It is robust. I see your eyes watering a little bit. But wait. If it's too much, just blow it out. And now stick your tongue in the roof of your mouth. Now try it. There you go. You hit that pocket of flavor. And you go, oh, wow. There's so much flavor in there. Lingering warm. A little residual sugar on the back end. That is not how rye usually typically drink, but it will finish warm and dry. Just watch. Give it another 10, 15 seconds. It's a lot of flavor. This is a 95 proof rye. Now, on a shelf in the United States, this is like a $45 bottle of whiskey. That's this good. It's very special. Right? And so I think we've noticed too, and I have a lot of friends of mine, millennial women, who buy this rye because they love making cocktails with it, because they want to add some sweet, but they want that pow. And this is how they're doing it.
For me, there's like a little bit of fruitiness in there as well, like orchard fruits, kind of appley, pear kind of notes.
Absolutely.
Like as a top note, which I really like.
Without a doubt. And you pick that out because, and again, we kind of function as experts in whiskey at this point, but you don't have to be. No. So many people pick out the same notes. People who are novice, they only come from the wine world. They go, I want to try this rye. I hear a lot about it. So thank you for trusting us to actually go ahead and try this, but you're now realizing, wait, there's a lot of dynamic range here. And I think in this new space where now that we're producing, going forward, our ryes they're regenerative. This rye is sequestering enormous amounts of carbon dioxide, putting it safely back in the ground where it belongs. And as we do that, we're feeding all of those vital microorganisms in the soil. That soil's getting healthier. The water table's getting more robust. Everything that's going to get planted on that now is going to be better and better and better. And that's how we build this like $1 trillion healthy food economy globally every year. How cool is that? Oh, thank you. You know what I mean? It's just a unique time.
Yeah.
The fact that we can do this now.
And when you were thinking about rye whiskey before, you made this whiskey, and thinking about, the different styles of flavor that you wanted to create in Brothers Bond, how did you approach this rye, and why did you want to get into rye specifically? Because it's also a really hard grain to work with, isn't it?
It's hard. I will tell you, anecdotally, and again, I'm not trying to sound crass or like make light of it, I was very nervous to release this rye. I was shaking in my pants because rye is a very small category, but you're only dealing with the big dogs, right? And so how could we give our customers and our friends and our drinkers something special? And Vincent Hanna, my dear brother and co-founding partner, who's also our CEO, once we got the main Brothers Bond mash bill, it was so good and dynamic that we realized it was more of a platform of flavor. Like we could go anywhere with it because it was so good. And Vincent said, this is like 8 years ago. This is a long time ago. He said, listen, this flavor is like a platform. So we want to be very careful. And as we release our other expressions, we want to make sure that the DNA of Brothers Bond is still there because it's really spectacular. So what does a family have the same of? Same DNA. So this rye, we wanted to have a similar DNA to Brothers Bond, but be a striking award-winning rye. So that's what I did. I went to the mat to make sure it had the DNA of Brothers Bond, right? And that's what separates it. It's a 4-grain American rye. I wasn't worried about a straight rye designation, no. But we wanted it for the rye purists, the people who love rye, the bartenders, the GMs, the mixologists, the chefs. Those are the people, they're the gatekeepers that have the ability to talk to you. So I'm grateful that Vincent said that because we really focused on that as we released these other expressions throughout our category, our profile, through our portfolio. So this rye embodies that. It has the DNA of Brothers Bond, but also the DNA of a really rye-forward, pure rye that bartenders lose their minds over, and that rye enthusiasts and purists, they can't cut us down for it. It's that good. So that's where we sort of we're very proud of it, but I was very nervous to do that. We're a celebrity brand. We're not slapping our names on it. And I left the television business 6 years ago to build this company. So we're technically a celebrity brand, but not really. But people want to tear celebrity brands down. And by the way, for good reason, a lot of people just slap their names on a brand and people try and push it out. That's not this brand. So I was very happy when people started responding well to it because I was quite nervous, releasing this. So,
job successfully done.
Thank you.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about innovation as well. Whiskey is a very regulated category. There are obviously boundaries that you have to work within. But where do you see there being a lot of room for further innovation within American whiskey?
So the innovation space is huge, right? what we just did with our new rye is going to really blow the industry away. But so like 8 years ago, I said to Vincent, I said, hey man, 4, 5, 6 years to wait for whiskey to mature, that's a long time. How can I get, 3-year-old whiskey to taste like 4 or 5 or 6-year-old whiskey? Well, I went into barrel innovation. Barrel innovation is really key. And there's a guy named Pete Barger down in Statesville, North Carolina, who owns Southern Distilling. That is where our regenerative whiskey comes from, who's a genius maverick of barrel innovation. And what he taught me was when you focus on creating and building the cleanest distillate you have to rely on the char of a barrel less, because carbon is carbon. It cleans things, right? You can rely on the carbon of a barrel to clean dirty distilling. Well, super clean distillate gets to interact with the barrel more because you char the barrel less. So we went into that on the regenerative side, and that was very special. So if you aim to distill in the cleanest, most purest form and be okay with losing some percentage of proof gallons, then you're going to have a distillate that's quality first, not quantity later. And that, I think, is the real distinction, right? People want to drink less. They do. They want less quantity, higher quality. So it's up to us as distillers of spirits, winemakers, beer brewers, to go quality first. Otherwise, you will sink and perish. People are going to drink less. And by the way, it probably won't go back up. So now it's our time to shine as quality forward makers of spirits and wine and beer, because the consumer wants higher quality. But you also are tasked with producing higher quality at really great competitive prices. Stop going for these giant high margin products. It's not going to work anymore. Be comfortable with giving people the highest quality you have at a margin that's actually going to sustain your business. That's what you have to do. The days of producing very low quality products, they're gone.
People are a lot more selective over what they're drinking
They are.
these days, and they should be as well. They should be able to have it all with the products that we give
Right.
to them.
But it's up to us as the makers of these brands to give higher quality, higher standards. That's what we do.
Ian, if we were to make this a hat trick and see you back here again next year at Provine and have this conversation again, what do you think would be the trends that we would be talking about in the American whiskey space over the next 12 months?
I think we would see right now, there really is a glut of American whiskey available right now in the market. There just is. And so what we're seeing is prices falling precipitously, and big suppliers scrambling to maintain and hold on to their market share. And what I think we would see is a continuation of what we're seeing now, which is really refining that people want higher quality. They just do. I think you're going to see the big whiskey owners still continuing to slash prices to move that volume. And so I say this, and again, I say this in all humility, and I don't say this to sound incendiary or controversial, but I will tell you, as a small whiskey brand, as a 100,000 case a year brand, we're seeing the bigger markets, whether it's Singapore, Dubai, places in Africa, South Africa, places in Europe, where the big American whiskey suppliers are mandating that we are not allowed in. The Brothers Bond is not even allowed in to those markets. What does that tell you? It's signaling that they see that our strategy is different from theirs and they don't want us there. Because for me, it's about connecting with you. If I can't connect with you, then you're not going to connect with this brand. And so they are hell-bent on keeping us out of these markets. And the same in the United States, their whole strategy is to undercut our brand, price-wise. Undercut. Try and keep us out of the market. The data don't lie. I'm speaking truly about data. And I say it with all humility, but yes. So we see that trend. And I'm going to fight my way through it, as a brand. You remember Scooby-Doo? Mm-hmm. Scrappy-Doo. He's like, let me at him, Uncle Scooby. Well, we're Scrappy-Doo. But I'm going to have to keep going. And I will keep innovating, and I will keep connecting with you and the right marketing publications and channels, and that's how we do it. So that trend is going to continue because there's so much whiskey now that was mismanaged. They're going to continue. Prices are going to go down. Quantities are still going to continue to drop because people want to drink less. So I'm not sure where we'll be, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see a continuation of this. And we will continue to connect, continue to drive that level of purpose. Quality first, uncompromising quality. And I wish everyone the best of luck. I just know that we're doing this while most people are doing this. Mm-hmm. And the reason is quality, authenticity, occasion, building occasion for people to bond. Because what we learned from the entertainment world was shared experience bonds people. Our experiences together is what bonds us. So as a company, why are we not building for that occasion? Let's bond people together, not separate people or try and get them to drink more at a cheaper price. So I humbly say, I'm in it for the long haul, and I wish everyone the best of luck, but this is the path we're taking.
Yeah.
Quality first, connection, authenticity, and looking at lesser margins for higher quality and quantity together.
Yeah. I appreciate you being quite open about, the challenges that you're also facing, because I know we had Vincent on a panel yesterday talking about celebrity spirits, and people look from the outside that it's very easy to come into this industry and just find success like that overnight. But actually, you have to do a lot of the same groundwork that others are also having to do and facing the same challenges that we're all facing in the current economic climate.
For sure.
I know you also don't like this to just be you and I having a conversation up here. So we have got some time to open up the floor if anybody has anything they would like to ask Ian while we have him here with us.
Listen, the only way you learn and the only way to get something fun is to ask a question. So any questions? Anyone want to ask anything?
My question is around cask experimentation. Are you for it? Are you against it? Do you think whiskey should go in like crazy wine or port, or I know it goes in port, but different casks? And what do you think, if you could put your whiskey to age in any type of liquid cask, what would it be?
Finishing whiskey in amazing casks is an unbelievable science. It's a science, and listen, there are people that do it really well. We experimented for 2 years busting our asses because one of the biggest retail chains in America said, this is what we want you to do. And because we were already doing it. I worked so hard to get it great. And by the time we presented it to them, they said, you know what? The market is saturated. We don't want it anymore. And I was like, oh. But finishing in casks is magical. Oh my gosh. So any way you can enhance the flavor of something, in a quality perspective, then do it. Give the customer the most amount of flavor possible, right? Give it to them. Just do it from a quality first perspective. So we are experimenting right now with some unbelievable European barrels and casks that we have access to because of a major strategic partnership we have with Banfi in the U.S. And some that we have now in Europe. So I'm over the moon and excited about that. But as a purist right now, my goal was to produce whiskey that didn't need anything. It didn't need to be finished in any special barrel or cask or have something added to it. It was just amazing the way it was. That's just what I wanted to do because I had to. It was out of necessity. So whatever you got, do it, but just do it from a quality first perspective only. Does that make sense? Quality, quality, quality. And then yeah, exactly. The 3 Qs. Quality, quality, quality. So, I mean, obviously there are incredible finished whiskeys out there, and they're amazing. They're amazing, amazing.
That is our time with Ian. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Ian, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and share some whiskey with us.
From the bottom of my heart, I thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Melita, for moderating. And these guys have been so incredible to us. The spirits business aims to, and what you're doing and what's amazing is, the spirits business brings people together over the idea of spirits, not just a conversation, the quality, the experience, the economics, all of it. How do you bring it together is what you guys do the best. So thank you, sister.
We're very
It's been amazing. You and Richard have been so incredible to our team. And thank you for putting all this together. Richard, wherever you are, thank you, brother. From my team to your team, and from our team to you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving us this space to talk about it. So thank you. I appreciate you all. I thank you all. Have an amazing evening. Thank you.